Hey, so welcome back to the channel. Now, before I go into the video, I just want to say thank you to those that have subscribed. To hit over 56 subscribers when I'm recording this video is just amazing to me. You know, I don't know, like I really appreciate it. So thank you for that. And I'm gonna do like probably a bit cheesy 2010 thing here, but hey, let's go for it. If you've subscribed and you want a shout out in the next video, then drop a comment just saying, hey, I've subscribed, and I'll make sure that I put a shout out to you in my next video. And so moving on to the actual video itself. So I'm doing not a ranking, right? Because there isn't enough subject matter to do a ranking for this particular subject. But what I'm going to do is more of a scale of how dangerous I think the animal is. And, with that, what I'm covering off is the monsters, the creatures that are in fight scenes, in live action, in obviously the Star Wars series. Now, I'm covering everything here. And these are ones that I can remember. If there are others that I've missed out, please pop something in the comment about it. I'll check it out and maybe retrospectively try and add something in, or put it in another video moving forward or whatever. But these are the ones that I know of that are notable. Again, this is across the series, so it's not just from the films, but again from the TV shows and what have you. And so with that said, let's get to the first one. So the first one might take you by surprise that I'm putting on here. And it's very famous, obviously. It's the Sarlacc pit. And the Sarlacc pit, for me, isn't a very dangerous creature. And the reason why is that I appreciate that, again, going into looking at the actual creature itself, when it's an infant, it's mobile, but when it's an adult, when it's full-sized, it is stationary. It's sat there. And so all you have to do is avoid it. In fact, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun with this. So the question is, how do you survive the Sarlacc pit? And here are your options. A, walk away from it. B, walk away from it. C, walk towards it. Or D, walk away from it. Off you go. Oh, that's a tough one. I think it might be walk away. Walk away. And C's walk towards it. I'm just going to go with C. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be C. I'm afraid that's the wrong answer. You're dead. And so there we go. Now, the other thing I wanted to do was, and I didn't mention this at the start, but was look if we've got anything in nature that's kind of like the Sarlacc pit. And horrifically, we do. But it's not something that's going to affect you, all right. And I'm going to put it up because it's crazy. But it's this little critter called the antlion. And it hides in the sand, and it flicks sand up, and it eats ants. They look pretty ferocious. They're actually in this game that I've got. I play called Grounded. And there's antlions in that, and they are pretty ferocious at early game. But once you get into the game, they're not, but early on they are. And so I thought that was pretty cool. I think everything else on the list, barring one, there is something that resembles it in nature, which I'll draw a comparison on that as well. But my least dangerous, it's got to be the Sarlacc. It's got to be. So there we go. So next I'm putting up what is called the reek, and also the Mudhorn. I'm putting these two together, so you're going to be watching them while I'm talking. But yeah, the reason I'm putting these two together, and actually just on this point, is I find it hilarious that who should be technically the strongest person? Maybe, you know, I guess Obi-Wan is technically at this point, but Anakin's certainly going to be outbeating Padme in terms of fighting skill, and he gets the easiest animal to fight. The Reek, in my opinion, would be the easiest one of, particularly in this arena. And I know that obviously Mando, he fights the Mudhorn again, but it's the same creature pretty much. They're pretty much rhinos. And I know I said that I'm going to liken it to an animal in our world. Rhino, obviously, there we go. But I just think that this would be quite easy to dodge, let's say. And hey, look, you know what? Using our technology, our world, if we've got, you know, access to guns and things like that, this would be pretty easy to take out. You know, so on the danger scale, you know, I'm putting this sort of like, I don't know, maybe like a 3 or a 4. So yeah, here we are with the Reek. Enjoy the fight. So next up, and we don't see much of this, we don't see much of the Wampa, but it is the Wampa. And I think this would be, again, worse to fight than the Reek or the Mudhorn. And I'm going to go down the road of this. The Mudhorn and the Reek, I like the Rhino, as I mentioned. The Wampa, pretty much a polar bear, but bigger and more vicious. And that's saying something, because if I had a choice, if I were being put in a ring with either a rhino or a polar bear, I'm picking a rhino 100% of the time. Rhinos are herbivores, obviously polar bears are carnivorous, and one of them's chasing you down, you are not outrunning it. Unless you're tooled up, if you're against a polar bear, you are having a bad day. And well, yeah, Wampa pretty much a polar bear, so I'd say we're edging more towards like a 6 in terms of a 6, you know, out of 10 in terms of danger, let's say. So yeah, Wampa in my next spot. And so now we've got what is called the Nexu, and it's the one that goes after Padme, and this thing is vicious. Of the creatures in this arena, it's the smallest, but man, this thing is vicious. It's claws, it's got teeth, it's agile. It rips Padme to shreds on her back. So yeah, this thing's pretty brutal. And I guess if we're going to liken it to something again in our world, probably looking at like a tiger maybe, leopard, that sort of thing. This thing is vicious, and I'd say it edges out the Wumper just because of how agile it is. So I'd say more like a 7 out of 10 in terms of dangerousness. So there we go. And now the famous Rancor. This thing's brutal. Right, I'm putting this here. Not as, let's say I'm putting it as a 9 out of 10 in terms of dangerousness or viciousness. There's one main reason as to why, and it seems that it's tameable, as though because obviously when it dies in this that you're watching now, the guy at the end is all like upset, and I'm like, all right, is he the trainer or whatever? But also, if you've watched the Book of Boba Fett, then you'll know that they actually have one trained as well, and it fights with them. So I guess because it is trainable, that sort of makes it a little bit less dangerous. But still, there's nothing I can really liken it to in our world. There's nothing like it. It's just a big, giant, I don't know, lizardy type thing, but obviously stands on its hind legs like a human. And again, I guess you could escape it, you could hide from it. If it's got hold of you, you're toast. But yeah, you can just hide from the thing. So I don't see it quite as vicious, particularly not compared to the next one. And so now, the Acklay. This thing gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. Yeah. So, right. First of all, what would I liken it to in our world? And the thing that sort of springs to mind when I see it is like a giant praying mantis. Now, praying mantises are no joke in the animal kingdom. Obviously things do still eat them, but like an adult praying mantis will like take down lizards and mice, and they are no joke. So imagine that, but bigger than you. You would be on the menu, mate. That is not. And obviously, it's fast, it's vicious. This is a 9 out of 10 here. We're entering the real danger zone. Because it's so agile, again, compared to like the Rancor, which is quite slow moving and what have you. This thing is fast. It attacks viciously. If this thing's got its eyes set on you, it's either you kill it or it kills you, kind of thing. And yet, of course, a gun from a distance, sound. If you had a sword, nah. I wouldn't want to be getting up close to this thing. But hey, maybe with a lightsaber we'd be alright, but I'm just talking like our weapons, a standard sword. No. Give me a rocket launcher. And now finally, this thing is a 10 out of 10 in terms of dangerousness. Like, what the hell? So yeah, on Mando, they had to, I guess, knock it out of the park and put up a real challenge. This thing is just brutal. It's massive. It spits like, I don't know, acids. You're gonna see, but it just melts people if that stuff touches them. Thank God there's nothing like this on Earth. Nothing like it. That's obviously at the scale to us. I don't know, maybe like a bobbit worm might be sort of similar, I guess. This thing is a 10 out of 10. Get me out of here. I want to fight a jet, and I'm going. Maybe that's all that you could use to take it down as a fighter jet, because even if you're in a tank, this thing will probably melt the tank and eat the tank. yeah, I think you need to get a fighter jet on go with this thing. So yeah, it's a solid 10 out of 10 is this thing. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the fight.